Fats and oils are both triglycerides, which are a type of lipid or fat, and triglycerides are made up of three fatty acids bound to a glycerol molecule. Fats are solid at room temperature, whereas oils are liquid at room temperature. And fats are saturated and oils are unsaturated. An example of a fat would be butter, which is often used to make cookies, and a type of oil would be olive oil. But usually, if you're making a cake, for example, you would use something more like vegetable oil. Here's a picture of a triglyceride. You can see the glycerol molecule bound to three fatty acids. Here to further discuss the difference between saturated and unsaturated fats, saturated fats contain no double bonds, which means that they have stronger molecular bonding and their chains are really tightly packed. So that's why saturated fats are usually solid at room temperature. And then unsaturated fats contain at least one double bond, which allows them to have more fluidity, and the double bonds are found between the carbon atoms. And so the weaker molecular bonding and the loosely packed chains between the fatty acids is why unsaturated fats are liquid at room temperature.
So, the second concept that we're going to discuss is how water activity is impacted by the ratio of water to soluble materials. So, increasing the quantity of soluble materials, such as salt or sugar, actually decreases the water activity in a substance. So, salt is more effective than sugar at doing this. And so, how this works is that it takes up the available water in that substance. So, let's take cake, for example. And then what that does is it decreases the water activity and therefore improves the shelf life. So the third topic is fermentation. And fermentation is an anaerobic process, meaning that it does not require oxygen to occur. And it happens by microorganisms converting molecules into acids, gases, or alcohol by the cells taking in energy from carbohydrates. So some examples of fermented food are cheese, sourdough bread, beer, wine, etc. And some really cool benefits of fermented foods is that they have increased nutritional content normally, and because of the fermentation, it has a unique flavor profile. The fourth topic is complete proteins. Complete proteins are proteins that contain all nine essential amino acids, which are valine, isoleucine, leucine, phenylalanine, methionine, lysine, threonine, and tryptophan. So these amino acids cannot be synthesized by the body in adequate amounts alone, so therefore they must be consumed. Some great sources are salmon or other kinds of fish, chia seeds, soy products, beef, eggs, and much, much more. The fifth and final scientific concept that we'll discuss today is a very delicious chemical reaction called the Maillard reaction. The Maillard reaction occurs when a sufficient amount of heat is applied to substances containing proteins and carbohydrates. And it's also important to note that this is different from caramelization. So the Maillard reaction occurs between the amino acids in proteins, and amino acids are the monomers of proteins, meaning it's the building blocks of it, and also a reducing sugar from a carbohydrate. So it happens when developing compounds break down and then form new ones, which therefore lead to unique properties. So the result is unique flavors, smells, and colors. And an example of this would be if you're searing a steak, you get that nice golden brown outside. And then also if you're baking bread or in French fries, that's another example of a Maillard reaction.